Okay, Porsche 911 guys, this is Porsche Dash 101. Everything you thought you knew about Porsche Dash is very likely not accurate. So I'll tell you what we know here at Heritage. This is a factory original reproduction factory part, Porsche part for the dash assembly. Very often, as it was in this particular case, the dash, original dash for this customer's car was in just too poor condition to recover. So a brand new one was purchased. There's a couple of variants of the dash. If you guys know your stuff, the early cars came with no speaker and so on. The factory only reproduce one dash, and you have to manage for the early cars without, and I'll explain how we do that. So I can tell you that we started with the original molded dash. Now the next thing that you need to know, that you'll be surprised at, is that Porsche kind of screwed up here when they made this. They've molded this out of a modern, thick, sponge-like plastic. I say plastic, we don't believe it's PVC. We're not sure what it is. It's heat moldable. It has the grain. The original dashes were molded much thinner, PVC. We know that it isn't PVC because we had a big problem with our automotive solvent-based glue, which is crucial for the recovering of this dash pad in leather, reacting with this. What happens is the glue does not dry, and it has to dry on both surfaces, both the dash and the leather cover, to get the results that we see here. And this one, I'm sure you'll agree, is magnificent, covered by our very best guy here at Heritage, almost as if it's spray painted on, almost indistinguishable from the molded piece there. This is leather covered, of course, extremely difficult to do to this high standard. Now you can see it on this one here, where you can see the overspray from the solution and the way that the speaker has been filled there. So our solution was to take this pad and orbital sand down the surface so it keys, and then as you see by the gray here, is a special polymer primer. I'm not a paint guy expert, but my guys specified this particular high build primer to the paint shop, and they completely painted this with several coats of high build primer to allow for us to be gluing onto that as opposed to gluing onto this mystery vinyl. But it was a real shame when we started that one, because we waited and waited and waited, hoping and praying for the glue to go off, and it just didn't happen. We had to clear it all back off, shoot in primer, and then that's the solution. Time consuming, difficult? Yes. Necessary? Absolutely, otherwise we wouldn't have done it. So that's how we do it here at Heritage. Do not try this at home, kids. This is extremely difficult. Look at this, absolutely beautifully top stitched. I'll show you the cover first of all. Let's start with the cover. An exclusive to Heritage. Nobody else, none of our competitors are even close on this. They're using full thickness leather. The factory did not use full thickness leather. They used skive leather. That's approximately half the thickness of the original. So instead of 1.1 to 1.4 millimeters thick, it's less than half of that. It becomes very thin, as you can see. So this is kind of put through a giant plane, of the suede is taken off the back, and it becomes very thin and pliable. It's also important that it's cut with the grain direction of the animal in the way that helps the trimmer for the bend, for the irregular shapes. It's then sewn together and beautifully decoratively top stitched, as it was from Porsche, and that's the beginning. Now getting that onto that is a whole nother story. If you want perfect results, send it to Heritage. Simple as that. I've yet to see anyone in the business do it as good as we do. Look at the end here. Look at that. You can see there's a splice there, as it was from a butt joint, as we call it, from the factory in that position. You don't see that when it's in the car. And you can see the beautiful top stitch along here And then you can see how my best guy here has got this wrapped around these irregular shapes. Look at that. Isn't that magnificent? Again, we look at it's completely without puckering. You go to the shows, you look here, if you see a leather covered dash that's been done by one of our competitors in full thickness leather, almost always you'll see wrinkles and gather points here. It just can't be done without the Sky of Leather. So again, heritage exclusive. That's why we get the big bucks for what we do, guys. It's as simple as that. You get what you pay for. We've sanded this down as a base for the filler that's going to go in here to fill it. We have a special compound that's specifically made for dash repairs. It's going to fill that flat back to be perfect, and that's how we deal with that. There we go. Everything you never wanted to know about 911 dashes.